Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which could be mysterious, and it can be shocking and very spiritual, but also kind of out there, and also very soulful, but also is this real at the end of the day? Hopefully, mildly sweet. Hi.
Hello, you guys. So today we have finally another docuseries, and this one is called "The Cult of Mother God." Love has won. Episode 1. See what I did there? Not the same
Mhm.
word. One starts with a W, and the other one starts with a
Oh,
O. I kept wanting to say zero. I was like, it's not a zero. It is not a zero. It's not a number. It's a letter.
I wish you had.
Okay. So, oh wow,
I'm excited. Yeah.
this was such an interesting one. I came upon this TikTok, and they said that you should watch this one, and it's a crazy one on Max or HBO or Cinemax or whatever.
Not
So,
definitely not Cinemax.
oh, it's not on Cinemax.
Definitely not Cinemax. It's the HBO Max that it used to be HBO, but now it's Max. Yeah.
But you know, it's Cinemax Mix. That's why it's called Max.
Is it?
Hmm.
Well, it's definitely not Skinamax. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, it's not Skinemax, but the reason why it's now that is because HBO and Cinemax have merged. So that's why it was called HBO Max. And now it's just called Max.
Honey, the only merging I want is what was happening in Skinamax in the 90s. You know what I'm talking about? Skinamax.
Boom,
Anyway, yes.
boom, boom. The more you know, everyone. So it starts off with a police raid.
Hmm.
And I thought I was going to see a lot more. I don't know what I thought I was going to see, but that felt very like normal.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're raiding a home. We go into the home. It's rainbow bright threw up everywhere. You know, it's turquoise wall painted and then a pink wall, and then just that kind of rainbow that is specifically rainbow bright. I mean, you know, it's the aesthetic is Lisa Frank. It is a very blue walled, you know, is it the sky, you know, like it would have a cloudy blankets, and like it's this very, you know, 90s early aughts young girl aesthetic that is like also complemented by strings of different Christmas lights all over the place. So the police come in and there's just a guy who's like, "Hi, yes, hi, how are you?" And they're like, "Hi, how many people are here?" He's like, "Well, there's five, there's two adults, there's five adults, there's two kids, so 17 people." You know, it's like what, okay. And they're obviously showing a mix of personal cam footage and like what else, and they're kind of going through this house, and there's like random people, and they get to the bedroom. Now it took me a while to understand what I was looking at, because I was like, is this a child's bedroom, you know, like. And again, it's the personal cam footage is distorted in some way, as you can see, like that kind of fisheye look that you're like, what am I even looking at? Because but what you end up looking at is a fucking mummified woman's with like hieroglyphic eyeliner laying in like satin turquoise blankets. She looks like Clownapatra. You know what I'm saying? She looks like, you know, Karenapatra. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what to tell you. This is it's an extreme look, honey, and it's definitely shocking. What?
That, and I still don't believe it's real. It just looks like metal that has been left to its own devices. And I don't know what I'm looking at. I can see a nose and I can
Yes.
see maybe some eye sockets. It looks like a sea creature. It looks like the front of a ship that's at the bottom of the sea. You know when it's like a woman at the front of a ship, but
Yes,
made out of metal.
that is true. That is true. She's wearing eyeliner though, right? Can we talk about the eyeliner?
I just don't know. I don't know what I'm seeing.
Oh, but look at it, La.
Well, I'm
What
looking at it,
is
and I are the eyes cracked open a little bit? What is that lighter shade of
right? It looks like, okay, this is what it either looks like. It looks like the very bottom. It looks like she's giving a little sleepy eye, like a little bit of it's open, but then on top of that looks like white eyeliner that has been like streaked across like in some sort of makeup-y way. And then again, you said sea creature. On top of her, painted on the wall, is a fucking dolphin, and I said painted and by like what looks like a 4-year-old, and there's, by the way, many kids in this house. I'm like, how many kids were like laying on grandma's bed? I can't even. This is
A
the
poorly
beginning image, and it's a good one. Well,
a poorly painted dolphin. So yeah, it's body cam from the police. That is what we are seeing, which is why it's so terrible. And then they look down and they're like, yeah, call in the troops or whatever to get more people in here. And the dude is like, yeah, the child is fine. The children are great. And then everyone's like, well, we don't know what happened to mom. It was like she is awaiting, we're awaiting divine information. We don't know. It just, we don't know what happened. And we thought she was going to come back into her body and start to breathe.
yes.
We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know it was happening. I felt yeah, mom had never given us a reason not to trust her
Well,
and not to trust in what she was saying.
mhm.
So that they just kept her there because she said she was coming back. And so they just kept her body just like hanging out there.
So we take a step back from this to understand mom in this case is a woman named Amy. Honey, if
Mhm.
you seek Amy, just like the Britney Spears song, all the girls, all the boys are begging, if you seek Amy. F-U-C-K Amy, who is a lovely looking blonde lady from what she describes as the middle of America. So if you put an X in the middle of America, it would be over her town, honey, which is Crestone, Colorado. Go Kansas. Wait.
Oklahoma, somewhere. Who knows?
You
Crestone.
know, shit. I think
Crestone, America. Crestone,
it's not Colorado. Is she said that's where she goes.
Crestone,
It's
USA.
yeah, I think it's Kansas. I'm dead. So, and she, listen, it's like her, it's her mom, it's her dad. She has a little sister, like things are chill. She's, like kind of
Oh,
mischievous.
oh wait, she doesn't live in Crestone. That's where she ends up. I don't actually know where she's from.
It's somewhere in Kansas, and then Crestone is going to be where she ends up going. But
Yeah.
yeah, like Crestone in itself is kind of a character in this documentary. Like they like Sex in the City. You know what I'm saying? Like how New York's a character. Anyway, God bless. So Crestone they want to tell us is, and I am now interested, is a place where the veil is thin, meaning the space in between this world and the others, different portals, different weird ass shit from UFOs to spirits, honey. There's just creepy shit that happens here. Now, wow, when you heard that, were you like, book me a flight, I want to
Yeah. I
go?
was like, oh, I can get to the other dimensions. In the Spider universe, okay, Spider-Man has different Spider-Mans in the different Spider-Verses. And I was like, is that where Doctor Strange is? And that's how he controls the different multi dimensions. Like, but also, do the aliens know something about it? Because the aliens, all of them, all the other life forces in the entire universes of all the universes that they're all out there, they tend to travel there too.
Yes, says
So,
the people in this documentary who we're just going to go ahead and take as being professional people that know this shit. I mean, these people look like they never left that place, but honey, they know it, like
yeah. And Mary knows it. She says that she's half redneck and half hippie,
which is
which
a great, yeah.
which is a wonderful combination, I feel to be. So it's really interesting. And then we have people who are her followers, and they were like, what's in a name? Okay, we only have our spiritual names. So they've all changed their names from whatever they are to whatever she called them, like Faith, Buddha, Uncle T, Aurora, El, Moira, like, Mother Mary, whatever it is that mom,
You've
Mother
been waiting
God.
for that one. You were like, make
Yeah.
Ma was like, make sure of all the people that you make sure that you get a Buddha picture. And I was like, I got you, I got you.
Yeah, Commander Buddha. He's my favorite personally because he laughed about the whole thing. Amerith White Eagle, but we'll get to him. That was his name before she got to him.
How come Aaron is just named Aaron, and Aaron brought her all stupid ass kids, and she's the smiliest of the smiley dumb broad. Anyway,
Okay. Now we have the police of Crestone who look like they have been through it. They haven't gotten new uniforms in a very long time. They're not professionals at all. I wouldn't trust them police at all. I don't know which of them cracked the case, but it wasn't none of them who are talking to us in this documentary. They don't look like they they don't look
Yee.
like they could crack shit.
Well,
So
it's weird because the entire time this guy is like, "Look, we knew them there. You know, love as one. We know there was this weird ass lady called Mother God, and we knew you know her name, but for years he'd be like Mother God, he'd be like, oh, up the hill, that's where Mother God is. You know, like they just seem like he's floating through life. All these people in this place look like they've been put there, and then some sort of gravitational force that they've told us about keeps them there for which they cannot move from. And yet, and so they've all surrendered, right?
I just wish that I was like one screw loose so that I could surrender, you know? Like no one could get me caught up in a cult because I am too smart
Yeah, I
to
know.
do it. I'm just too smart to do it. And I like to do my own things. I like facials. I like massages. I like money. So I can't be in the cult unless I am the leader.
Or I was gonna say it's a cult about beauties and spa.
Yeah, but then
Sure.
people are going to want me to beauty them. And
Well,
I,
here's the thing.
again,
Yeah, I mean, but you know, if it's like, but unless you work your way up and people are beautying you, be
beautying.
beautying you,
Mhm.
beautyizing. Anyway, so let's get back to this hellhole. No, I actually like
Yeah.
the doc. I mean, now this is bananas, and as it gets more, it's like the doc people are from around this area. I did a little research, and they started to hear about them, and after the death, they started like researching and doing this, and at the same time was this kind of like upfront of QAnon Donald Trumpism. So like, this is, and that will of course like come into play.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about all that too. Ooh, let's get okay. So, where we're seeing her followers is in Vermont. They have picked up and moved from Crestone when the heat got hot after she died, and they
Yeah.
moved to Vermont to be left alone. But
And we're like,
then
did someone kill her? Like, we don't know anything. So we're like, because we don't know how she died. So we're like, someone one of them killed her, Are people coming after them? Like, you know.
yeah. So the people are like, you have to be open to her to see her more than just Amy. Because she is God. And you have to and like then when they're like, how do you know she's God? One of them is like, I think it's Aurora. She's like, whenever someone asks great, I love that question. Because whenever someone asks me that, I say, how do you know you're in love with someone? You just know, right? That's how I know she's God.
I think it's this one that says that. Yeah.
Hmm.
This one that looks like a blonde Gal Gadot, and
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one
yeah.
looks like this one's wearing a lot of tanner in this picture, but this girl looks like,
One
uh,
of them is from a really rich family.
yes.
One of them is from a very rich family, and she like left and joined them.
All these people, these ragamuffin people, and how they come together is so interesting. And one theme is drugs or whatever, and the other themes are all the things that we know from other cults: wanting something, searching for something, longing for a community, and therefore having maybe even like a some sort of part of them that doesn't quite fit in with the mainstream or isn't quite working in other situations. But Amy's different in that, from, not to jump around, but Amy seemed to have been, before she became Mother God, doing the thing, you
Yeah,
know, with a strong trajectory. But so yeah, that girl, yeah, she's like, listen, mom's body was warm, honey. So we always said she had three hearts, like everyone, they just all talk about being somewhat obviously in love with her, but then also thinking that she's God in some way. And listen, if you listen to this podcast, you know that we covered Teal Swan and we talked about it so much. And there are some similar themes, right? One similar theme of a female led kind of like guru esque cult in both of these, and but they manifest themselves much differently, is this sexual undertone, which I love. Now, here's the thing. Every time there's male gurus, we always talk about the sex they have, right? Like, it's always like they've been fucking, they're fucking like young people, it's always like, I mean, like that's like a thing that happens. But yeah, like once you have ultimate power, regardless of your gender, and the world is open to you, sex always comes into play.
Yeah. Yeah. But Chris, what is a cult? People who don't believe in what is mainstream and that God is a man and the church wants money? Does that make me a cult?
Then
The answer is
fine.
yeah, fine, I'm
Yeah.
a cult. I'm a cult then.
Guilty as charged. Aurora, spirit
Guilty.
guide. Yeah.
Yeah. So Buddha, my favorite, had a vision about the pastor and
Oh,
at his Catholic church. And he saw his pastor and he wondered to himself, where's your partner? And then there's a guy named Dylan, and Dylan used to take a shitload of psychedelic, and we are pretty sure he still does.
yeah.
And so God to him being a woman really, really spoke to him. And so what they would do all day is just take notes of everything that she would do. They basically just wrote the New Testament or wrote their own type of like Bible about every single step she took. Like to them, she was Joan of Arc, Cleopatra, Marilyn Monroe. In fact, she was hotter than Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, that part. I mean, like, she has somehow let these people know that in her past lifetimes, she was every single famous, powerful, and seductive, sexy person that's been. Like, which is a lot. I mean, it's not, she didn't even pick like three. She picked like every one of them. Like, it's interesting to call yourself like Marilyn Monroe. Like, anyway, it's just, because here's the other thing about Amy. Amy goes on a journey, right? From what we see, like the person she is when she's young, what she's doing, what she looks like during this. And Amy, for all intents and purposes, was objectively a beautiful lady. Now, I'm not saying that she's a model, but what I'm saying is she was gifted growing up with all of a symmetrical face of features and none of them being threatening or horrible in some way. And she, in fact, has blonde hair, blue eyes, a small nose, like she's like a trim figure, like she's hot, like she, especially in the world of what she can trade on that. It's like, so then after that, she gets in the corporate world and McDonald's really fucks her up, and who knows, huh? I mean, probably just like how intense those 7-Eleven, like those 7-Ups were. Maybe she drank too much of those like fizzy 7-Ups as it got to her mind. I'm not quite sure. But let me just tell you, the Bible that Aurora, one of the Auroras, honey, I don't know. There's two hot girls, by the way, we'll talk about these two hot girls. So one is Hope and one is, wait, that's not her. And one is Aurora, and both those girls become like poster girls for the church and like are like the little fishermen's of getting men. But that Hope girl is like, I wrote the Bible, as Wa said, and she is showing us it in like Lisa Frank-esque diaries. Like, they're either the kind of books and journals that one would get from like a CVS while you're in line for your medication, that's like Jesus-y, like it has like a full-on psalm and like maybe footsteps, like, or like a full prayer on it journal. And then other ones are just like girly ass journals, and she's just like, again, writing mundane shit on it and is so happy. Like, there really is this sense of them getting off on doing really profound work, or having tricked themselves into thinking that they're doing profound work. Right?
Yeah. It's really interesting. Can we move on to her etheric team?
Yes.
Okay. So
That
then
girl.
we're
Yeah.
back to Vermont and this girl.
This is the same
She'll
girl. Hope loves, like, Hope is all fucking like, that girl is this girl, but she just looks different right there. Sorry, I mean, which way, like they just look so different. But she is her fucking biggest fan. She could not love Mother more. Go on.
So she shows us who the etheric team is. The etheric team.
Uh-huh.
Now, I didn't look up the word etheric, but I think I should. so that we can define it for the people. Okay, here we go. Let's
I
Google.
realized, should we have gone like this the whole time? Oh, well.
I'm not on the page anymore. I'm Googling.
Oh.
Etheric. It
Girl.
says, of or relating to the heavens or spiritual world or plane of existence. Souls exist in the vast domain, diversely referred to by mystics and theologians as the etheric realm, heaven, or the afterlife. Okay, got that? Great.
Okay.
So,
Spirit.
ready.
Yeah.
Her etheric team is John Lennon, first of all, is the commander of the main starship. So not only is it a team, it's a goddamn spaceship.
Yeah, like Star Trek. Like, so
Okay.
is John Lennon one of the Star Trek people? Wall, you love Star Trek.
John Lennon?
Who she say who was?
John Lennon is the
Okay.
commander of the starship,
Okay.
of the main starship.
Yeah, like Star Trek.
Do you know who John Lennon is?
Yeah, from the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. He is the commander of the main starship. So that leads me to believe that there are other starship in the fleet. So now it's a fleet.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fleet. Okay. Now this is a little collage of all the people. Elvis is actually Amy slash mother god slash mom son. And also there's Trump involved in his somewhere.
Well, at first she's like, everyone is passed. And then she's like, to tell us, everyone, like, these are her spirit guides that everyone's passed. This is how she gives it to us. And then as she's going over, she's like, Donald Trump, who that person is obviously alive, unless you can tell us that he's not. And by the way, behind Donald Trump, there's just a painting of a blonde lady. Like, who's that? I see Rodney Dangerfield. Okay. Next to Donald Trump is Rodney Dangerfield. And behind Rodney Dangerfield is a painting of a blonde lady. Well,
I was thinking that it is Joan of Arc. But Joan of Arc has some kind of helmet on, right? Okay, but wait,
yeah.
hold on. I'm not finished.
Okay.
So she signed over the divine plan. Okay, but I'm sorry. Robin Williams is mom's main ambassador. And she signed over the divine plan for him to make changes. I'll read that again. Robin Williams is mom's main ambassador. She signed over the divine plan for him to make changes. Humanity will see. Michael Jackson is there. Whitney Houston is there. I think that's Karen Carpenter that's there. I see Richard Pryor. I also see John Ritter. I see a funny lady in the back. I see Bob Marley.
Carol Burnett, honey. I see.
I mean,
is that Regis Philbin down there? Like at the very bottom. That's Regis, right? From like Regis.
Oh yeah. Regis and Kathy Lee. Okay, wait a minute. Is that Patrick Swayze?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is that Jim Belushi?
Yeah.
With a cigarette?
Oh, yeah. I think I saw him earlier. Yeah. I saw John Candy in there.
I mean, it's definitely Tupac and
George
Prince.
Carlin. Yeah.
And then that's another rock and roller. Who was married to Iman?
Oh. Shit.
I do see John Lennon.
Who's the black lady underneath John Candy and George Carlin?
John Candy, George Carlin. Above that picture of that other smaller black person?
Yes, I would. Yes.
Ugh. Is that Aretha?
Maybe. You're right. Maybe that's Aretha. It's just it looks like it's like a picture. It's like transparent and you can't see. Like,
is that Willy Wonka below Whitney Houston?
Yes.
Gene Wilder?
Gene Wilder. Yes, it is.
Okay, who's
David
below
Bowie? David Bowie. And George Michael.
Who's below Michael Jackson? Is that Judy?
Yeah, it looks like Judy Garland and Carrie Fisher. God. So that makes sense. They were like,
oh, that's Carrie Fisher. Okay, I thought that was Karen Carpenter. It's not Karen Carpenter. Is that Michael McDonald below Jack Lemmon? Is that Jack Lemmon?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's George Burns. Okay, so this is probably not as fun for people that are on like, yeah, that's listen,
No,
we
it
didn't go
is
through
fun
it.
for them. It's
No,
fun for them.
it's like, where's Waldo? So it is bananas. She's bananas. This is crazy. And they're like also showing us video of mother talking on YouTube, live streaming just as we're doing right now. And if you think that we sound like a bunch of baddie bitches that don't know what the hell we're talking about, honey, let me just tell you that is one blown out individual. Like already we're like this person is not and hasn't been sober in like very very long. Oh, my delivery is out. How lovely. Um so anyway, here we are. Let's move on. We find out finally more about Amy, and we do so by finding Amy's mom. Here is Linda Carlson. Linda Carlson came on with kind of like a Vicky Gunvalson vibe from Real Housewives of Orange County, and some like fake eyelashes and kind of like a muted tone, kind of like cool tone, brownish gray lip. Now she gives us the story that I've sort of given you, which is that Amy was born and then she had a little sister and then her parents got divorced. Amy was mischievous growing up and then kind of like wanting to be a singer. She really liked like having attention on her, and then got a job at McDonald's, and really like early on got into a managerial position, and then they gave her, I guess, like her own store in such a way. And her mom was like, she could really talk to people. She knew what to say to people. She had that gift to either like pacify people. It's always interesting when people say that. It's like, well, if you know what to say to people, does that mean that you don't get anything done of value and good? You just know how to sort of talk over it, or are you not only good with people but a good you know leader and also accomplish things for the team as well? It's very interesting.
She's charismatic and probably can use that to her advantage and can be a little manipulating. She can also like pick up on people and what they want and do what they want and get them to do things because she understands what they want, which is such a valuable skill as a manager and as a tyrant. Like, think about it. If you are really good at getting people to be on your side and getting them to love you and like you, that is so good as a cult leader.
I want to get good at it. I think I'd be such a good cult leader. I think I mean, okay, well, I'm gonna
How'd
tell
you
you
do
right now,
how'd you do that?
nothing. I did nothing. That's God telling me. I'll tell you right
Chris,
now, if
Chris,
you're on
wait a minute.
Patreon,
Take away the
no.
cult. Do you think you would be a good leader?
Yes.
Where are you leading people to? What are you doing? What is it? What is
I'm
it?
not gonna give away all my secrets, Wall, but I think I'd
Okay,
be an
great.
amazing cult leader. Oh yeah, I think I'd be an amazing cult leader.
Okay, good, good, good. I'll be your HR.
If I have
No,
you.
I will be your HR. Don't if I had an opening.
I know what
Don't.
you want. The only way you want to be in my cult is I can give you free massages. We already talked about this.
Yes, I would like beautification.
I know. And how dare you be like, what are you leading? Anyway, honey, the ship. So that's what I'm leading.
The moment you're like, I can't. Okay,
If I
go
had
ahead.
people to delegate responsibilities to, I absolutely could. Are you insane? I'd have to do everything by myself all the time.
Which
And
is why I would be your HR.
okay, well, let me tell you, going back to this life. So Amy is killing it, honey, with the chicken nuggets. She can't. She's selling the McFlurries. She's just she's really good at it. Like she's like quarter pounder with cheese, honey. I mean, she's climbing up the corporate ladder like at a time that really she could have made a whole thing. But the bitch does ecstasy like once, she says. I mean, I don't know if this is true because she makes it seem like she drops Ep1 and it just opens up her motherfucking mind in a way that she was like, I got mad. This part is so crazy. Let me tell you. She's like, I got mad. Like, why has life stopped this from me? How have they taken this away from me? And I was like, bitch, you're just high. I don't understand. Were you so dumb that you didn't understand what high was going to be? Like, I don't understand. And I mean this. Listen, maybe I've done ecstasy, okay? Like maybe once, okay? Or allegedly not. I don't know who you are, but maybe in this hypothetical, I'm just going to say perhaps maybe that happened. And all I'm telling you is like you it's like I mean, yeah, you know logically that you took something that you know is a drug and what it does. And so when it does it, you're like, well, that's what that does. And then you get out of it. You're not mad. You're like, you understand logically how that happened. You're not going to, I mean, I don't know. Her description of, or how they describe how she gets mad at this and why she's now obsessed with drugs after this one time doing E while having a burgeoning McDonald's career, like, gets me a little bit. I mean, also, like, I feel like every manager in McDonald's in the 90s doing coke. Like, you could have been doing E and keep that job, bitch. Like, how you gonna pay for the E? I mean, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, also, I feel like no one gets addicted to E, truly, or do they? I don't know. Maybe people do get addicted to E, but it's like, I mean, people don't. I don't know. She's just crazy. This woman's crazy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You really enjoyed this, and I'm really glad that you enjoyed this because I've never seen you talk so much in anything we've done. So I'm glad that you did because I didn't know how you would feel about this. I'm so happy that I picked a really good docuseries for you. Okay, so she then goes to the internet. She quits. She gets upset. She gets depressed. She goes home, and she gets on the internet. And let me tell you, I felt some kind of way because I remember the internet in the late 90s, and I really thought that website development and the way that the internet looked in the early aughts was not this.
You mean like, yeah, this is GeoCities 90s to me. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I
Yeah.
said, "What is this?" The graphics, this looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. Bam,
Yes.
bam, 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 bam,
Yeah.
bam, 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 bam. Like, this is so bad. That's supposed to be like flames. Like, and it's like she starts to go on these like websites about archangels and finding your spirit animals and like lightworkersorg.com and all this shit. And on these websites, she's just like really lonely. She meets the oldest man in America at the time. I mean, this man is 125 years old. His name is Emerith White Eagle. Okay. And she goes to wherever this man is, and she like
Look at this. Joseph, the amazing technical dream coat he's wearing. I can't. Oh, please help.
he's he's I mean, they had like higher vibrational energies of nature, and this is her first father god. And I don't think they ever got married, but they did some kind of ceremony and they lived together in some kind of trailer situation. And he says that they were simpatico. And then he also says that they were twin flames, which should be our next docu-series. So if you guys watch Twin Flames, it's on Netflix right now. Chris and I will look into it, but you should watch it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so they get to Crestone, and I wrote down that they got married, but I don't know that they did. So
I think I wrote that down because it looked like they did some sort of ceremony, but they did it in like 14 days, like he was just like, you're so great. We have to meet in the physical. And they meet in the physical and like, just like really meet in the physical,
and the family's like, oh my gosh, she met him, and like she's with him and she's staying with him now. Like she just leaves her family. And
Poor
everyone's like,
sis.
yeah, it's the Crestone and where the UFOs are. And then they just like fucking having such a great time out in the boonies nowhere, doing drugs, smoking weed, having a great time. And so they create an online newspaper together. And then she just kind of slowly got introduced to, I don't know, honey, YouTube. Like you early stages of YouTube in 2007, when your girl Waha Melino was doing cupcake adventures and running around different cities trying cupcakes and making her friend test them out. Like, this woman was on YouTube talking about, she was like the original Teal Swan. She was like in 2007 posting videos on YouTube or other video platforms, long form video platforms, and just talking about spirituality and how it helped shape her. And then more and more people started watching, and she kind of got addicted to him. And then he kind of just like sat there with his sunglasses on, looking all hippie and shit. And so she got really into that. And
started
Didn't
calling
really.
herself Mother God at that point. Like, that's when she starts taking that on, and even that weird white eagle guy's like, "Oh, I wasn't that's your like, she really embodies this character at that point. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then she meets a guy named Michael, and he's, I think, from New York City. And he comes, his name is Miguel, right? But he's like, "Oh, just kidding. My name is Michael, Archangel Michael, Father God." And so it's not clear now that his name is Father God if she starts to have sex with him, but he's a computer whiz and he's a finance guy. And he comes to help her and her business grow. And he has convinced himself and other people that she has cured his cancer.
They're fucking, right? They don't say it, but here's another thing is that we don't get to talk to this guy. He isn't part of the documentary. He's not a confessional soul. So it feels like we obviously don't get to talk to Mother God, as the first scene shows. She's no longer on this earth. So, but they're fucking, right, Wah?
Yes, but I don't know if they are. He is okay with her sleeping with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they have to. I mean, yes.
yeah. So then we got a guy named Andrew, and everyone's like, Andrew's a straight laced, good looking guy. But and I'm like, I beg to differ. He has a pain killer addiction, and he
Mhm.
loves conspiracy theories. He's also met her online. So then he comes to Crestone, and
Yeah.
he says he's had dreams of her, and she's dreamed of him, and they spoke about the angels. And so, she wants him to help her create a beautiful new earth. And they're going to help usher that in if he comes to visit her and become the new Father God. So they take shrooms, and
A lot.
she's like, "Hey, let me know when you're ready to make love to me." And then she walks away like nothing. And
I'm
then
so jealous.
he says he wasn't in love with her, she wasn't his type,
Mhm.
nothing. But then a few months later, he just fell in love with her. In fact, she was a little lazy. A little lazy. I said, "This lazy ass bitch gets this man just by being like, hey, just let me know when you're ready to love me."
Yeah, he's like, she was a little lazy, but he enjoyed pleasing her, which obviously is like, oh, she's a pillow princess. She would just like sit back and just be like, eat me out. And he would just like he would just eat her out for like hours, like high on shrooms, like, and he even wasn't that attracted to her, but he just like fell in love with her and just, oh my God, just like that part's banana ramas. I loved it. Yeah, I don't think I have ever obviously I haven't ever in my life. I would remember it, been able to just be like, go up to someone and just be like, someone I haven't made love to yet, and just been like, again, tell me when you're ready to make love to me. And just walk away. Like the power that would give. Obviously, I would have to say to someone who I know is on bated breath waiting to, but I can't tell if she knew that he was or didn't know that he was, but just assumed that at some point he would, because she's living in a fantasy of how delusionally, like, important she is.
Probably not. Why don't you just try it?
What?
Why don't you just try it? Why don't you just do
No.
it? Okay.
No. Okay.
Why not?
No.
Just do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll tell you when I do it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, great. You want to do the next part?
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, no, I want you to, sorry.
Oh, okay. So then we find out that basically he'd been bankrolling the whole thing. Was getting 700 a week in unemployment. And so he was the reason why they were all kept clothed and fed, and weed on the table is what he said.
Yep.
Was because he was getting that $700. And so he was actually really good at marketing. And so he was good at social media as well. So he helped her with that. And he developed the phrasing, "love has won." And so that was his contribution. But Andrew didn't feel like a god. And she would say that she was the light and she didn't have any trauma. But he's like, that's not true, because girl, you were like literally drinking your life away. Like you were getting shit faced and drinking yourself into oblivion every night. So and there were times that he would get her to admit that there was something going on, but then Michael would kind of see that that's what was going on. And so Michael would then come and pull her to the side and be like, don't listen to him, he doesn't know what's going on. And then a few minutes later, she'd be back to walking around acting like Mother God. And then it became obvious that he had to go. So he did. And so then Amy started creating these like ways of being. And so she would say things like, you know, you're a mirror of what you see. So if you don't see her as Mother God, then you don't see that in yourself. um and so when Faith got there, Faith was already going around to different countries opening chakras. In fact, she'd been to 53 countries doing this good work. And then she met Amy, and she basically told her, hey, you know what? I can get you 20 people here in a month. Like, what you're doing here is some great work. Like, I can do that. And then there's the other girl. I didn't write her name down, but the other girl came and she was like, I don't have anything to offer you. So she just like started cleaning the shit out of the house.
Oh, that's this girl.
Hope. Yeah. So Hope came and just started cleaning because she's like, everyone else has something to bring and I don't do anything. And so I think she's the really rich one. And so,
She's also the one that was like, oh, I thought it was the other one. I thought Aurora was the one and Hope wasn't. But I thought Hope also
no.
was like, I got there and I realized like some people get to sleep in her room. They get to sleep in Mother's room. But like maybe it was Hope, like Hope gets to sleep in Mother's room, like on the floor. And I was just like, I gotta find a way to get to that floor to sleep on that floor too. Like, I'll tell you in a billion years, I will not ever love someone, maybe my children if I ever have children, where I'm like, I'll do anything just to sleep on that person's floor. Wow, would you ever like, could you imagine?
No.
Yeah, I mean, like, also because I'm so sleep sensitive, you know? I love like a good bed, you know? I would just be like, "Oh, can I just sleep in the bedroom next to you and then I'm still living with you?" I just can't imagine being so obsessed with someone, but like Hope and Aurora are. I mean, can I ask a question?
Hmm.
Especially Hope, like, is Hope a natural submissive? And is she, like, in a dom sub relationship, whether it's sexual or not,
I do
with
not know.
well, I know, I don't think that you, like, would absolutely know the answer, like, I know you're
Oh.
not friends with Hope, but what do you think? Like, isn't this a great idea? Just because of, like, where you have to be to want and crave someone's validation and power over you to that level. And if you are gonna be like that with someone, like a cult leader, have you like, wouldn't you assume that that person would just naturally also, if they were in a sexual relationship, sort of fall into that category?
I know. I guess I just think that like people who want that outside of an intimate partner, an intimacy being sex, or someone who pays your bills, or something like that, someone you live with and you share a life with. I think that you just want to be happy within yourself, and the only way you know how to do that is by validation from outside.
Okay.
I just don't think that like I don't understand platonic submission.
That having said that, maybe that wasn't platonic though. I mean, maybe if you told me they were all fucking each other, obviously I'd be like, oh, I get it. Of course they were. I'm not. I mean, maybe I'm just. Maybe they were. Yeah, maybe they were not platonic.
Mm,
Maybe
maybe.
Aurora won't ever say it because she's like, yes, of course I would suck on mother's breast for milk every night, you know. But maybe in her, I mean, I have no idea how she would consider her intimate moments with mother. You know?
Jesus, that just took me to a whole place I didn't even want to
Well,
go.
oh, well, you're honey. This is episode 1. Get
No,
ready. So,
Jesus.
yeah, people are.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
all these people just started coming to the house, and like, I mean, there was just so many shrooms and just alcohol and weed. And then this lady came with her 4 kids and a dog. And
Aaron,
this
wait,
grand,
I got
this
Aaron is the
Aaron.
smiliest banana face person. I mean, Aaron comes in and is like, I was just so happy to bring my very young, impressionable children. Who knows where their father or anyone that loves them or anyone who would actually make good decisions for them, who knows where they reside? Just me. I was so happy to go into this drug den with my children and be taken in with such warmth. She's like, people came up to me and hugged me and said, we are so happy you're here. And I just had never felt drugs ever. You know, like, I can't, like, what are you talking fucking about? Like,
Yeah.
she also gives you a look like this woman's like a sketch comedy character to me. Like, she has her face radiates happiness and warmth, and her eyes radiate, "I have been dead for 1,000 years."
It's like, help me.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So then that whole thing when all those people got there was live streamed. And most of them didn't realize it was being live streamed. So people were like, "Oh my god, is this on live?" And then someone's like, "Yep." And they're like, "Oh shit. Oh
Oh,
my
oh,
god.
okay.
Oh my god, it's crazy." And so everybody emptied their bank accounts. Everybody emptied their 401k.
There
Everybody did everything. So all those people, and now everybody's now bankrolled. And mother starts to get overwhelmed that all these people are in her house. But people start to take care of her physically so that she can get through it. Um, so it is just really, I mean, everyone's just trying to be mom's best friend. And so there's a military guy who is, carrying that hardcore father energy, which means that he's fucking hot. And so mom wants him. So he becomes the new father god. And they start to live stream 24 hours. And then just to have full transparency with their audience, then they start to sell shit.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they start to make money like constantly and they take it up a notch. And I mean, I don't know what year it is at this point, but they're fully in entrepreneurship online in a way that I'm like, this is actually quite brilliant because like they're selling, I mean, they're just selling like spray bottles of oils and mist. And I'm like, what snake, like in your words, snake oil, what fake ass nonsense are they selling for $20 a pop and sending out from Crestone?
Yeah, like, this is you know, every couple of years there's a new wave of internet conspiracy. So this is in the one, and I remember this, where everyone got obsessed with like
Yeah, yeah,
colloidal
yeah, yeah.
silver. So they're making things out of that. They're saying that that cures everything. They're making pumpkin spice body butter. Meanwhile, again, they have live streams where it's just the two hot young girls being stoned out of their minds, just being like, as you know, the universe is just what rich bloodline families want it to be, and we have to break out of it. It's just like, yeah, totally, girl. As they smoke weed, and so guys or whoever are just like, in the way influencers are, it's like, look at these two hot girls getting high all day long and talking about this. I'd love to live in the hippie world where all these hot girls exist talking about bullshit and smoking weed all day, and can I fuck them? And so they get popular for that. I mean, people will really just like listen to anyone right now, ha ha ha,
Yeah.
just to like literally have their days filled. So anyway, but we're not trying to sell you stuff. But maybe we should. But they're doing that. They
How are they making the body butter, Chris? How are they making that fucking body butter? Is someone like really just high, like
no,
straining shea butter from like a fucking? How are they
they're
doing it?
reusing. They're buying stuff and then they're selling it. I can tell by like the products they saw that it was all like Alibaba or like Amazon just repackaging stuff. They're not making anything. And when they show us the colloidal silver thing, they kind of try and show us something that looks absolutely like a meth lab, like absolutely like a meth lab. Where I'm like, that's meth you're making. I mean, I don't. I
I
mean, I never
mean,
made it, but like that's
from
what
all the
meth.
times you've been in meth labs.
Oh, honey, many times, honey.
Okay, okay, okay. Just wanted
Anyway,
to know
so she's a
so I
meth
can tell your
queen.
dad.
No, I haven't. It's a horrible thing. I actually haven't. If I'd be skinny, I'd be so much skinnier. So, but yeah, like it does look crazy. And the other thing about, like, yeah, there's that older lady mother, one other that's just
I
like,
mean,
Mother
this
Mary's like,
lady spent the last 10 years of her life for no reason.
yeah, absolutely. Well, no, she got it. She got a free place to live. I mean, they're all basically on welfare, just smoking weed all day and then selling whatever they can and just like living as a hippie commune. So I mean, she probably got a free place, or at least like half of a twin to sleep on for the past 8 years of her life. But
Half of
um,
a twin.
twin, honey, and it wasn't a captain's height.
And they're all sharing a bathroom, and it's just like they're all levels of dirt and like,
Oh, she's drunk. Yeah, they start to be like, mother. There are some people that you can tell don't have the allegiance to Mother God as much as others do. Like, obviously, Hope is like, I will lick. the ground that she walks on for the rest of my life. But this Mother Mary is like, well, she did have a penchant for like pretty faces. When Buddha and other people start to make comments where you're like, I don't know, the veneer started to crack for you guys a little bit. That spell was broken. But yeah, that's
Yep.
basically it ends with the new guy coming in
It ends
and
with us finding out they're like, honestly, she loved a pretty face, and the truth is that I think that she would still be with us if it wasn't for the new
mhm,
father god.
yes. And we kind of get like a little like action shot of him and he looks very like bad boy.
Yeah, very, very
Bad
bad
to the
boy.
bone,
I
honey.
think we see like an ankle bracelet, like an ankle like monitor
Yeah, we
in prison.
actually do and we clock it.
Yeah.
We've done enough love
I
after
mean, it's
lockup.
love after lockup, yeah.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Okay, babe. So there's at least 2 more episodes of this as being dropped right now on the Max. We don't know what's going to happen as popular dot docu-series get season 2s, So we never know, but thank you so much for listening and if you want to, give us a little love, please do so by giving us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to follow us, you absolutely can. We are at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, at DocuSweeties1 on X/Twitter. We have a Facebook group, the DocuSweeties Podcast Facebook group. And other than that, we've been podcasting and showing you the face as well and giving you pictures. Wow. Tell them how they can see the pictures.
If you want to see the visuals of what you're listening to, you could do so by joining us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. Again, you get the visuals of what you're listening to, as well as a live every first Monday of the month. You also get exclusive content like specific docu-series and other fun content. So if you would like to see that, please join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.